Hey everybody, this is Brandon Scott with our next episode of the Fandom Pastor. Welcome back if you have been here before, if this is your first time or whatever. Hey, so glad you could check us out. Do me a favor and share this out. I'd love for more people to connect with this and kind of check out this page, just so we can make sure people understand that God is literally connected to everything, even your favorite sci-fi show. So again, I'm continuing with our series on the sci-fi show Firefly. And so far we've discussed Captain Mal, Wash, Zoe, Kaylee, Jane, Book, and last week we discovered, or a couple weeks ago, we discussed River. And this week we discuss her brother, Simon. Now, Simon Tam was played by Sean Moore. I think that's how his name is pronounced. It was one of his first roles. Sean does actually a lot of voiceover work now, especially for some of the DC animated films. He's most known for doing the voice for Dick Grayson or Nightwing, if you're interested. And a little fun little tidbit, the young Simon was played by Zac Efron in one of the episodes. So Simon is a top trauma surgeon, but gave it all up to save his sister, River. Now Simon would basically do anything to protect his sister, okay? There's nothing really that Simon would not do. I shared a little bit of a kind of a interesting little video about Simon below. Now, first of all, I want to say thanks to all the doctors and nurses, caregivers, basically anybody who's working in the healthcare field right now. You all are the ones basically on the front lines doing all the work. So I want to say thank you so much. And I thought it was really interesting that in my cycle that this is the next episode, which is kind of significant, I think. Now, for me, the emotion, the element that really stands out to me about Simon is his compassion. This is no more evident than in episode 8. Now, again, Firefly only lasted for one season, and so episode 8 was a really good one. In this episode, the crew kind of cons their way into this hospital so that they can pull a job. And while they're there, Simon wants to use some of the equipment there to run some tests on River, because he knows that she's had some different procedures and things done on her. And to help better understand that, he wants to use some of the equipment to run some tests to better understand it. Now, during this, Simon actually helps out another patient that's there. Now, this may seem kind of small, maybe a little insignificant, but you have to understand that the crew of Serenity were criminals. All of them were criminals. And especially Simon and River were wanted by the authorities. So, I mean, they were like the top ones that the authorities here really wanted. They really wanted River back. And so Simon chanced getting caught to help someone he didn't even know. Now, for me, this is obviously the sign of a great physician. A great doctor is having this level of compassion, this level of desire to help others, willing to do just about anything to help someone, even to the detriment of themselves. Now, in Luke 5:31, it says, "And Jesus answered them, 'Those who are well have no need of a physician, but those who are sick.'" You see, we're all in need of a physician. And when we're worried about our physical body, we go to a doctor. Now, when we worry about our eternal soul, we go to the great physician, to Jesus. Now, Simon is really similar to Jesus in that they're both willing to go to extreme to save others. Now, obviously, Jesus went way further than Simon ever would or ever could do. First of all, because he's a fictional character, but second of all, because even if he was real, he was just human. But Jesus, not only did he die to save others, he was able to save the whole world. I think it's very relevant that Jesus became human. I think it was so he could more understand fully what it was to be human, and therefore have the deepest of compassion for what that meant, for what it meant to truly be human, to deal with all of the emotions, all the different aspects that it meant to be human. And I think compassion is one of those major aspects of all of that. This is part of what we're called to do ourselves. Have compassion for those around us. Everybody around us, we have to have compassion. We have to have, whether or not we have experienced it ourselves, we have to have compassion, respect, and understanding to some degree of what others are going through, especially those who are different from us. Right now, we're dealing with physical distancing, which is the new terminology. It's physical distancing, not social distancing. So, because we're supposed to use social media to continue to be social. Social media and different ways to still be social, but physically remain apart. And so there are a lot of people that are out of work and still have to provide for their family. Now, if you don't worry about living paycheck to paycheck, this concept would be maybe foreign to you. You don't get it. You don't understand it. And you may think, well, why aren't these people better at saving money? Well, for some, they can't. Things have happened, and it's just a struggle just living paycheck to paycheck. And so when that is no longer an option to get a paycheck, things are so much more difficult. Besides the fact that even if they are working, for some, they don't have to worry about their kids getting a meal 3 times a day. For some, their kids get fed breakfast and lunch at school. And so they only have to worry about 1 meal. Well, now they're having to worry about 3. So again, if you've never dealt with that situation, you don't get it. And I understand, because it's not something we deal with. My family, we don't deal with that really. But I have compassion for those. And I'm not saying, look at me, how cool am I, how compassionate I am. I've had to struggle. I've had to work at it into the understanding that things are happening different than what I'm used to. So I need to respect that. I need to investigate. I need to try to reach out. We need to try to put ourselves in other people's shoes. So we have to have compassion. Show the compassion and love that Jesus himself embodied. So how are you going to do that? You have to get out of your comfort zone, maybe. You have to look at the world from a different viewpoint. So, join me in a couple weeks as we finish up our Firefly series. Now, like I did last time, I'll give a clue to the next episode. And this person is the last of the characters and probably the most mysterious. Thanks, and God bless.